Hi, welcome. Um, welcome to Sunday. Open panel. Come on up. Just hanging out. I feel like this is the. Well, I try to make it the party bus. I feel like I'm on the bus, and I just make my rounds, and people hop on, and I don't know who's gonna hop on the bus on any given day. I try to make it the party bus, but sometimes it's the drama bus. Sometimes it's the philosophy bus, which I also like. Um, anyways, what's going on? Hi, I don't have anything. I checked the news. Israel and I don't know, the Middle East is still fighting, and some bills got passed with aid to Ukraine and Israel, and they might ban or force the sale of TikTok. But they said even if that happens, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So don't get too excited. And what else did I see? I don't remember. It wasn't that important. No news is good news to me. I like news. Even growing up, I liked news that I could focus on, like news that I could relate to that was happening around me. Remote news never interested me as a kid because there wasn't anything I do about it. Like showing me the Middle East or even other cities. Like I remember the Rodney King riots and the OJ stuff and all of that. It was news, but it felt so passive and powerless. Like what? Yes, this is happening, and I do appreciate you showing it to me. But how much of an interest am I supposed to take it if there's nothing I can do about it? It was that kind of thing. So the news was kind of in the background, but I never really paid much attention to it until Trump, really. That's when I was glued to the Twitter all day long, every 5 minutes. And then 2020, when all the George Floyd and the woke stuff happened, that's when I really became. I was political, like on certain issues, like gay marriage, equality, and generally voting Democrat and supporting Democrats, usually at the local level, and but not any. I didn't get involved in like trying to figure out what's going on in the world nationally and globally. I had my social media was to interact with people like I do here. It wasn't really to consume content. And so AOL and Facebook, well, MySpace, Facebook, etc., stuff like that. And then when I moved up here, oh, I remember what it was. Meetup. That's the one because Meetup is designed for people on the internet to find each other, to find people that want to do things in person. So it was kind of a good crossover or gateway out of the internet. So when I discovered Meetup, I started doing all this stuff in person with these people. It was hiking and camping groups and stuff like that. So I had a lot of my stuff shifted in person, and we had the internet kind of as a hub to just coordinate with, but it wasn't the dominant focus. And that went on for years and years. And so I'd kind of shifted offline for a long time. I kept up with friends with Facebook and stuff, but I wasn't. Social media was not my dominant source of anything really for a while until Trump and then COVID. That was like the two things that jump started me back into social media. Hey Chuck, what's going on?
What's up, Jeff? I figured I'd come up feeling a little dead at the face for you, so you wasn't just sit here alone.
Oh, well,
Help you out. You talking about news or social media?
um, yeah, we're just talking about well, I forgot what we were talking about now. Oh,
Well,
how
then
news? Yeah, like
go ahead.
like my relationship to news, I guess, and social media. Because growing up as a kid, the news was never interesting. It was boring. It was something adults watched, and if it was really important, the adults would tell us,
And
which
it
they
was
almost
always
never did.
bad.
So in the little kid world, you never had to worry about the news because if anything you needed to know happened, there were adults around that would just tell you. So you didn't have to like worry about what was going on in the world.
Yeah, I can remember the days when we used to have to climb underneath our desk for a nuclear raid.
Yeah, I
If
remember
you ever,
the nuclear
yep,
drills.
I
Yep.
always called it "bend over and kiss your ass goodbye" drill.
Oh.
Because hiding under a desk ain't gonna help you one iota.
I was never as I don't think I have a strong fear response in general. I was never as scared as like I understood it in the back of my mind, Cold War, nuclear weapons, and all, but I never really thought the world was gonna blow itself up. And they had that Day After movie that came out, and everybody was freaking
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah.
And they didn't even want us to watch it. Like they tried to keep our kid, my grandma tried to keep us from watching it, and that made me want to watch it even more. But that was the time where unless you watched it when it aired, there was no other way to watch it. You couldn't
Right.
rewind the
It
tape
was a
or
it
VCR,
was a
and so I
made for
missed a lot of
television.
it. Yeah, they were talking about it at school the next day, so it sounded like a cool movie. It sounded kind of scary, but it also sounded fiction, not anything to like. I wanted to see it as a really cool fiction movie, and so I didn't have a lot of Cold War fear growing up, but I think that was partly me. So when we did these drills, I did them, but I didn't really do them seriously thinking I would ever need to use them or it was
It was
something to be
like doing
scared.
a fire drill, basically.
Yeah, it was like doing a fire drill.
Except you stayed inside instead of going outside.
And I trusted our government. I trusted the Russian government. I trusted that the adults in charge were going to meet and work it out, that it was in nobody's interest to use nukes and that the cooler heads would prevail, etc. I just trusted all that as a kid, that the people in charge were mature enough to make things work for the rest of us.
Yeah, I can remember when I was stationed in Germany. I was at the time Czechoslovakia was still under Russia control, and I was at a missile site doing some maintenance on a radio system, and here come this MiG about oh god maybe 100 foot, 200 foot over our heads, and here I am. I'm climbing under something. I'm thinking this is it, and
Oh
there
my
and the people that were stationed there started laughing.
God.
I said, what's so damn funny? And they said, this guy comes by every day and says hello from Czechoslovakia. He's a
Oh,
Russian soldier. And I thought, you guys don't shoot him down? They said, no, we got orders not to shoot him down. Just let him fly over, tip his wing, and he goes back home. I thought, Jesus Christ, is this real or not?
how do you know what to be scared of? That's a great question, especially now when so much of it is coming from social media and it's kind of designed to get the maximum reaction from you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying that one day, that there's so much reporting without any background checking to see if it's true or not. They just run with the story and then fact check it afterward. So
They
everything you come across, you don't know to believe it or not, as far as news goes.
Yeah, that's why I use multiple sources and I compare different sources and I use my reasoning and I try to figure like do some detective work on my own and try to figure out what the reality is. So I don't rely on any one source telling me what it is. But there are some people whose opinions I trust more than others who's like
Yeah,
proven themselves over time. So like their input and commentary goes a long way with me with helping me to form my picture.
yeah, they
But
got a little
ultimately, I'm the one
trustworthiness.
thinking
Yeah,
through it and figuring out what makes the most sense to me.
I was like, I'm still trying to decipher that story I read this morning where Israel did a bombing run in Rafah, and most of the people killed were kids.
Yeah, I mean, I expect that there's going to be some children that die as a result, especially if Hamas is not going to help them get out of the way.
Exactly, because they embed themselves in the population.
But we also, and I've posted the link several times. This guy on Twitter did a very detailed write up. There's like a process and an international court and review board and everything that each individual strike in a war they evaluate, and they have all these criteria to see if it met the rules of war crimes or crossed lines, everything. And there's like independent investigate. It's a very detailed, well-regulated process. So I'm assuming whatever they did, that process is looking at it, and if it crosses some kind of line, we'll hear about it. But
Yeah,
I don't
they
need
yeah,
like 20-year-olds on social media reading, listening to Vosh or Destiny, and then coming and telling me what Israel did and what line they crossed. I'm gonna wait for the official process to tell me if anything, if I need to be concerned about any particular strike that Israel did.
yeah. There's so many armchair experts out here in the world now.
Because they want the drama, they want drama and activism. They want, I guess they want to have an effect or be meaningful, and it's the field's getting crowded. So I didn't need to change the world growing up. I was just like fighting for my personal freedoms and the freedoms of people like me, but I wasn't trying to look for things to fight about or change. I fought the battles that came to me when I needed to fight them, but I didn't go out of my way to look for them. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. When I was in Louisiana, I was there for 2 weeks, and nobody there talked about the news. Israel never came up a single time. Nobody read news, looked at news, and it was so. I was just in this little bubble of all we did was laugh and talk and eat good food and tell personal stories about our lives, and it was just. I'm like, this is what life should be, not all this worrying about news that none of us can change anyway. I'd rather be doing this. And so
That's a fact.
sometimes like it's whatever your inputs, whatever you're feeding into your brain, and the frequency that you're feeding it, and all of that is gonna, like, to me, like, set the dominant tone for your subjective experience. Here's Busker.
Hey,
Hello.
Good morning,
Busker.
Good morning.
Chris.
Afternoon.
The gang is here.
Evening, whatever you are.
Chris, good morning.
Yeah. Sorry, I was stuck downstairs. I had to get I had to get the soap off my hands. I was washing some dishes. So
Well, when you're done there, you can come do mine.
Oh, me too. You're more than welcome.
yeah, I lost track of time.
They're just piling up.
I even got an automatic dishwasher. That's even a chore sometimes.
My dishwasher broke.
Yeah, mine's been pretty fucked up for years. It doesn't go through the dry cycle, so
Mine doesn't even it won't come on. It stopped coming on. I don't know what happened to it, but it's completely dead. Just one day there was a light beeping.
Somebody's walking on their mic.
They sound like Busker.
uh,
Oh, sorry. That was an accident. I was trying to change the settings.
Sure it was, Jeff. Sure. We know how
Well,
you
maybe
operate.
subconsciously it's not, because I did it twice. Let me fix.
You did it twice.
Yeah, maybe I really don't want to hear from Busker today for some reason. I don't know why.
It's Busker, not Denizen.
I liked it. Denizen thinks I don't like. I don't have a problem with Denizen. I enjoy our conversations. I don't like when he challenges me on when I'm trying to moderate the panel, but I don't like when anybody does that.
It's your panel. You're free to do what you want. This ain't a democratic vote on how a man runs his channel.
No, it's like going to people's house. I've been to plenty of other people's homes, and they all do things slightly differently in their homes. I don't go to people's homes and like
Tell
tell
them
them
how
how.
to park, where
No,
to sit.
no.
If you did, you'd
It-
be shown the front door.
Hey,
I wouldn't
Jeff,
even it wouldn't even cross my mind to tell them. And so people are very bold with their opinions, which I don't mind hearing, but they just tell me and then move on in the conversation. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes of how you think I should do
Dictating.
it.
Yeah.
Poe, we didn't hurt the king. He's right here in our chat. We have
Is he?
King Philip.
No. I think they're talking about the other one. Stefan.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to dishonor our current king that is gracing us with his presence by worrying about some other king. Welcome, Philip.
Was you able to find what I had told you about?
Yeah, I have to go clip it. I have to go figure out how to clip it. That's
Okay.
gonna be a
I
pain in
didn't
the ass.
think I didn't think we needed to publish that for
No,
the
we
world.
No,
don't.
it's fine.
No, everybody's been made aware. But
been made aware. I mean,
keep an eye on that, please.
yeah. Well, I mean, but at the same time, like I mean, if I'm gonna look. I guess I can't because you took it down. But I need to look through it and even see if because like I don't even trust that guy's even like telling the truth.
No,
because,
I
like,
looked at.
he's
I'll
delusional,
send
dude.
you the timestamp. I did look at it.
Okay, you did look at it.
It is something that I'm gonna have.
But
to
he is
do.
delusional.
I did research it myself, and that's the only reason I said something to Jeff.
Okay, that's fine. I believe you. I just like, but that dude is straight up delusional. I had no idea. Like, I never even had a
Well,
conversation with him.
can we move on from him? Because the more we keep it
Yeah,
going,
I didn't mean to side rail it.
I know it just makes me, it upsets me because like I was
Chris, honestly, I don't mind talking about this off stream. I'll give you as much time as you want, but can we keep it off the stream?
Yeah,
please.
Sure.
Okay.
Jeff.
Go
Switching
ahead,
gears.
Busker.
Have you ever heard about an HBO show called Treme?
Yeah, I tried to watch it. The Treme, I tried to watch it. I didn't get into it. I thought I would like it, but
what was the name of it?
Yeah, I had the same issue.
Treme.
Like, it sounded like a really interesting concept, and like I liked the guy that he's the guy.
It's a neighborhood in New Orleans where a lot of
it's the guy that made The Wire, right?
Was it? Is it?
I
Yeah,
don't know who made it, but it's based post Katrina.
David Simon and Eric Overmyer.
Yeah, that's David Simon. I think the guy.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And my friend Wilson Saville, the son of the accordion builder Mark Saville, was in that. And,
okay.
You know, the Pine Leaf Boys. One of their fiddle players is gay. His name was
Who's gay?
One of the fiddle players. He's not alive now. He's gone, but he played the fiddle in the Pine Leaf Boys. His name was
I love the Pine Leaf Boys.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. I know who you're talking about. I did see that. I forget his name.
Yeah, I can't believe
young guy.
Yeah. Courtney Granger.
Yes.
Courtney
Granger. Yeah, Granger. Courtney Granger.
Yeah, and he was gay, and but I know he.
I didn't know he was gay.
Yeah, he was gay, and there was another Cajun that came out of the closet like way later. Another friend of mine. Oh, I can't remember his name, but
he's gay.
Yeah,
Cajun.
Yeah, like I think at first they just really, both of them, I could tell they just didn't want, like, because I guess in Louisiana and a lot of places they're not too kind about it. Some places, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have much trouble. I guess I didn't find it that terrible. I mean, I grew up in Trump country, and it wasn't terrible, and that was in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, that's
70s and 80s.
Since in the 80s, like there was like a whole bunch of gay bashing back then.
No one ever bashed me. I'm trying to think if I don't remember any like gay bashing in my area, and if it happened at all, it was probably drunk and gay people, not just like innocent passive victims. Like it was probably like gay people instigating something or people teasing them and then fighting back or something like that. But I don't even remember that. I'm even just making that up because no, Philip, I'm not yet, but I'm following I'm waiting for the rulings because I like to read the judgments, and so I'm waiting for each ruling to come out so I can evaluate. I don't. He's. This is such a hard choice because after these trials, Trump is going to come out probably worse than we've ever seen him, and I still may have to vote for him to keep all the woke authoritarianism and attacks on free speech out of our society. And so this is going to be really hard. So I hope the trials don't damage him too much, but I also want justice to be served. So I want whatever needs to come out, and I want there to be consequences. I want truth, reality, justice, all of that. But I'm hoping that it's not so bad that I'm not going to be able to vote for him if I need to.
Did you see that bishop in Wisconsin or Michigan, somewhere up north, of a Catholic church on Easter Sunday? He gave a sermon and he was telling his people, don't be mad at Biden. You know, he's not an evil person. He's just stupid.
I thought they're not supposed to talk politics in church.
Yeah, the archdiocese had to step in and
oh, okay, well, good.
iron out the situation. I just thought it was funny.
Were my parents accepting? No, well, no, but it was just my mom. My dad really wasn't involved, so it was just my mom, and I had a stepdad, but we didn't really talk about it much. I don't, but there was some resistance to it on his part, I think. But like I said, none of it was really spoken about. But my mom did, even though she wasn't accepting, she didn't kick me out of the house. She still kind of let me be. She nagged me and harassed me constantly. We fought about it all the time. I was going to hell constantly. She never stopped telling me how much. But outside of her, I really didn't. Right. But over time, she became very accepting. And her and Mike, my partner, got along very well. She liked him a lot. And after he passed away, a few years ago, she sent me a picture of him. And she said, I wanted to give this to you. I had it. She moved home. She said, I had it hanging in my bathroom and I wanted to make sure you had it. And I was so touched by that she hung my partner's picture in her bathroom.
She had that much respect. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So now it's cool. It's all cool. But it was really like, I don't want my kid to go to hell. Like her role as a mother, we're Catholic, was like to get her kids to heaven. And so they could all be with when she gets to heaven, the St. Peter in the gate, she has to justify her kids, and I'm the black sheep, like explain Jeff and why he's not here. And she didn't want her kid in hell either. So it was that kind of stuff. It wasn't anything reality based, or at least my reality based. And so I understood it. That all rolled off of me. I'd heard it before, but outside of that, she does. She visited last year for Christmas, and I let her know, and I wore my t-shirts, and we had been through it so many times before with so many other identities. She's like, you're gonna do your thing anyway. What does it matter if I like? She's not cool. I guess she prefer it not be, but she's also knows that I'm gonna do my thing, and
yeah, she can't change you. Yeah,
right.
Accept it.
So she's supportive by not being like not attacking me or being aggressive. She's kind of this supporting me by not supporting me. But I gotta say, she's come a long way. We had some rough times growing up. In fact, I had to go live with a teacher for a while and finish out school because they determined that we could not live together, me and her.
I knew a few families that when their child came out as gay, that they got tossed out of the house.
She didn't do that, and I don't. Now she did talk. She was constantly calling the cops to have me kicked out of the house. After I turned 18, that was like her discipline. If she was mad at me for any reason, the cops would show up. They'd start throwing my shit in the yard. But it wasn't over being gay. It was over like specific. We were fighting about specific something that day.
Could that have been underlying though?
I don't think it
The
was. I really
the
don't.
underlying cause of her getting so ticked off at you, or were you just that bad of a person then?
She was just frustrated and didn't know how to handle me, and didn't have a lot of. Neither one of us had a lot of tools in our toolbox at the time, so we did the best we can. But now we both have a lot better tools, and so the things that we used to struggle with then, we can navigate now a lot more easily. But I don't think she's not the type to throw any of us out over something like that. I don't think. So yeah, it's like she didn't throw me out, but then I had to live with constant negativity. But
yeah, she didn't condone your
but I did.
lifestyle.
I had a lot of years adjusting to that anyway, so it was not it's not anything I could tolerate. I learned very early the art of ignoring people, because I grew up in a small town. Most people were just average people. There's no particular reason why I thought I had to listen to them about anything. Like we had encyclopedias and stuff, so if I needed to know something, I could go to the encyclopedia and read about it. I didn't have to have these strangers like try to tell me what reality was. So I learned very early to just, if people are trying to tell me whatever, just listen to them and ignore them and continue to do my thing. And so I did the same thing with her.
Cool.
Hey Jeff, you said you like rocking chairs. Do you know a guy he's a musician named D.L. Menard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know him. I know of him.
Yeah, I've never met him either, but I knew a lot of people who know him. But I know a lot of people who knew it. Is he still alive? I don't know. But
I don't know. Let me look him up.
yeah, he used to make rocking chairs like back in the day, and I remember you talking about rocking chairs, how you like rocking chairs because you like to rock.
2017, he passed away. My uncle used to make, that's common down there. People make furniture as hobbies. My uncle used to make these big wooden rockers. We'd have them on the patio, and they were like screwed together with all this cut timber, and they were sturdy and comfortable, and I've always wanted one. And I don't think he's around anymore, but that's the rocker I grew up with. It like set the standard for rocking chairs. If I could have a rocking chair like my uncle makes the rest of my life, I would need another rocking chair.
Yeah, dude. Like I was never good with woodwork, but yeah, that's something.
Carrot, yeah. Phil, this is good. Just like even managing our personal lives. One of the first things I do with myself, with people I work with, this helps more than is figuring out what the fuck you can actually control or affect and what you can't, and separate it and draw that boundary, at least cognitively, because that's going to help a lot for future problem solving. Everything was someone else's job. Yeah. When I'm on a job, I'm there to do. There's like a larger mission that I think we're all there. I just assume everybody's there to be part of. And so I don't get caught up on specific tasks. I do whatever needs to be done. I'm one of these people who likes to jump in and help. Like I love to camp and stuff, and I love helping set up the campsite where everybody kind of pitches in and does whatever needs to be. I work that way. And so if somebody at work needs me to do something, a coworker or manager or whatever, and I'm authorized to do it, I have no problem doing it. I don't get caught up on job description. That's back when I used to do all that. Dom, welcome.
Hey Jeff, what places did you like to camp, or do you like to camp, whatever?
Well, I'm in Washington State, and there's some gorgeous camping around here, but I can't find one to camp with because they're all woke. Like there's camping groups, but they're all. I'm not going to have a good time, and so I need to find the kind of people that I like to camp with, and they're a little more rare up here. But when I lived in Vegas, I loved the desert because you had access to California, Arizona, Utah, which is my favorite state. So you had all those places: Death Valley, Zion, Bryce Canyon, Sedona. Vegas has some excellent camping outside of Vegas itself. Valley of Fire, Red Rock, Mount Charleston, etc. I love the desert. If I had to choose, it would be the desert. I just love sleeping out in the desert. I have done backpacking. I didn't backpack over. Well, we backpacked and then we camped and then we backpacked out the next day. But I didn't like backpack through the night. But I have done that kind of backpacking.
Yeah. I remember back when I was probably a mid-teenager, I used to love the backpack, climb mountains, and well, not climb them, just scale, like
hike.
they go up.
Although I have done some rock climbing, some very amateur.
Yeah,
climbing.
that's pretty cool. My brother used to do that in one of those gyms.
Yeah,
yeah.
Rock and then I've done some barefaced climbing too, a little bit of, and some rappelling.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
The one thing I haven't done yet that I'm dying to do, other than skydiving, is whitewater rafting, and the real thing, not the safe kind where they take you down, but I want to be in the rapids, flying out of the boat.
Yeah, dude. I used to love canoeing and kayaking and shit back when I could.
Afraid of well, and there's different levels of camping. There's like, what is it, like glamping, where you bring the RV or the pop-up camper and all the luxuries. I'm minimalist. Toothbrush, a pillow, or like a something to roll up, put it in my head, a little bit of granola or beef jerky or something. I'm good. I could go for a day or two. I sleep on the ground. But the only thing, I love sleeping outdoors, so the only time I ever use a tent at all is bugs. So if I'm somewhere where there's no bugs, I don't even use a tent. I just plop on the ground and sleep. And then, so for bug purposes, the tent doesn't have to be fancy or heavy or anything. And then another thing that's really fun and easy is beach camping. So there's some beaches that let you beach camp. You can make a fire on the beach.
Yeah,
you can set up a tent or a group of tents on the beach. You can have party. People can come and hang out and then go back to their place. And so beach camping is a really easy way to kind of integrate camping into something larger. So there's like, just find the level you're comfortable with, and do it. Definitely go with other people. Like the more the merrier. But just bring people that you know are going to be relaxed, can have a good time. Don't bring a lot of high strung, neurotic people, and
no panelverse people, I guess.
Yeah. Although there's definitely some panelverse people on here.
Yeah,
I think it would be really fun to camp with. Hammock camping, hammock is a great solution for sleeping.
I haven't been in a long time.
You would get a little dirty, although it is possible to kind of hang out at the campsite and like get a chair or something and get some wipes and keep yourself relatively clean, and I think still have an enjoyable experience without getting too dirty.
Yeah, I love those wet ones. Wet ones are good. Antibacterial wet ones. I use them all the time because I don't have to shower all the time because I don't really sweat at all. So I use wet ones to clean myself, antibacterial, and I do wash my head in the shower. I just dip my head in and try to hang on to the bars that are attached to the wall and just stand there and hang on to it and pray not to bang my head. Fall forward and bang my head. Thankfully, that's never happened. Although I did, I don't know if I told you about I got a tattoo from my wall. Did I show you that?
From your wall?
Yeah,
Must have fell into the wall.
Yeah, it was like
a tattoo. Oh no,
fresh paint and a fell right into the. I was drunk and I just fell straight into the wall and I just tripped and it kind of it left while it opened up. It should have been stitched and cleaned out, but it should have been cleaned out because I got this white patch on the top of my forehead up to the left on the left side of my forehead, and I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna get rid of it, but it's
I remember we
Oh,
had
this was recent.
no. This was years and years ago.
No.
we had
Like
textured walls in my other house. I used to come in drunk and fall against the wall and wake up with blood all over me.
oh
Oh my
damn,
Had to
god.
go,
dude, holy crap, dude.
yep. Then I had to go clean the wall up and retexture it before I knocked all the texture off the wall. Clean myself up.
And then clean up all the blood and
Yep.
man.
I fell during COVID. I was moving and I was like packing and exerting myself all day and I wasn't drinking and I think I got dehydrated and I was standing in the kitchen talking to my roommate and I started to kind of like wobble and I reached for the counter
And the
and
lights
I
went
missed
out.
the counter and I remember like headed toward the floor and then waking up on the floor and I could feel warm liquid
Oh
Uh-oh.
damn.
blood.
Uh-oh.
I had a black eye. My whole cheek was like swollen and busted
Oh
up for weeks
shit.
and weeks. It
Damn.
was one of those. I think it was like an orthostatic reaction when I had like stood up in the kitchen and like the blood rushed all at once or
Rush.
something.
Yep.
I had been drinking. I was exerting myself. I was dehydrated, and I think I just fainted. But I'd never had that happen to me before. It was scary.
I have
The
that
right conditions.
when I have low blood pressure, which can be often if I don't eat enough, and I get dizzy as fuck when I get low blood pressure. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
like you said, like when when you're sitting to standing, it's just kind of like all of a sudden you just can't control which way your brain's trying to move, and then you get dizzy and yeah. That's about as low blood pressure is about as hazardous as getting wasted. No
Yeah, for the
kidding.
longest time, my father-in-law's pressure was 40 over 20.
Damn.
Wow, that sounds low.
Yeah, he only had 12% of his heart that was left working.
Damn, dude.
So, yeah, even to get up out of a chair, he had to be real careful or he'd end up passed out.
Hey, Cynthia,
Oh,
Gary
it's
back,
her.
Australia, Auntie. Nice seeing you.
Yeah, low blood pressure is no fun, but I gotta say, I'd rather have that than high blood pressure. I don't know. I think I'd rather choose low blood pressure.
Yeah, I unfortunately have high blood pressure ever since the vertigo started. And it's just it stays. I think it's just because I feel like I'm already always feeling steady. It's the only thing I can figure. They given me like they keep upping the dosage of my blood pressure medication, and it it only seems to like every like time they double the dosage, it seems to bring my blood pressure down like a single like point. You know, like it doesn't seem to like really do much. So
So you have the opposite. It goes high.
yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, every time I go to the doctor at all, they check my blood pressure like 8 times because they're like, that can't be right. And they're like, yeah, that's still, and they're like, they're like, they've taken me in like to like check me for stroke and signs of stroke and stuff like more than once, like just going in for regular like a little like cold stuff
Because of
and
your
I'm like,
blood
no,
pressure?
yeah, and I have to tell them like, yeah, I know my blood pressure is always that high. It's been that high ever since the vertigo started. Like it's just the
Strokes
way
ain't
it
no
is.
fun.
Like
I'll vouch for it.
yeah, it's just dumb. But like the doctors they don't believe me or they have I mean they probably legally have to check for that stuff, just in case like you do have a stroke or something. Like they don't want to be they don't want me to die just because they didn't do the checks they needed to do because my blood pressure is usually insanely high. I mean, it usually is like it's like I think that, like last time with the doctor it was like 173 over whatever, and
Does that have any? Would that affect the falling too, or is the vertigo itself
I
enough?
mean, like it only I had my blood pressure was always absolutely perfect. It was 120/80 every time until the vertigo started, and it's been like that ever since. So
Oh, so it's all.
Man,
Do they know? Do they know that? Like the blood
yeah,
pressure
I mean,
history is.
I've told them many times, but I mean,
Okay.
and like I think I mean, it's like like I said, it's not like they don't believe me or something. It's just that I think they have to like when your blood pressure like reads a certain amount over a limit or something like that. They're like I think they're legally required to like do certain checks and stuff like that because like your blood, you're at.
Well, you,
I'm near stroke levels a lot of times. So
well, you got to
I
remember, it was in your chart you were transitioning, so they had to be
yeah,
extra
Right.
careful.
very
Do,
stressful. It's very stressful to be
do they know you're a
without even
mutant anyway? Like
knowing it.
you don't have normal body chemistry to begin. Like your body is not normal. You're neuro-physio-divergent as
I'm
well.
physiologically
For what
divergent. Okay.
yeah, we need to. And so that seems important. Like that they can't go off of what's normal for other people with you.
Yeah, I mean, like Chuck just said. I mean, I'm even transitioning without even realizing it. So like
Right.
it's uh,
I
I'm
think
one of
we're
I'm
all
one of
gonna be
I'm
end
one of
up be
it
trans
must be
after
the
this is over.
atrazine. The waters turning my frogs gay. So
Yeah, that's a true definition there, Chris, of a rude awakening when you find out you're transitioning and didn't even know
I'm what? Like, what do you mean?
it.
Like your body's your body just literally starts like transitioning
Mor-
into like your
morphine, yeah.
internal organs start turning into like
it
you
starts
start
to tuck
you start forming
inward.
a womb and stuff like just randomly or mutating into a woman. Uh, there was this bizarro cartoon that was on like several years back that was like that was I think I feel like it was almost like it was before the trans stuff started, and I feel like it was almost making fun of it before it happened. It was called She-Wow. It was about this kid who has an accident and he gets superpowers. The only thing is that whenever his superpowers activate, he turns into a woman.
Whoa.
What's it
it's
called?
it's called She-Wow. It was only on for like a year, and it was like, and you could tell why because like the implications of the show were obvious and very like very
Wow.
like uncomfortable, even like I mean, and it was funny, it was very funny because I mean it was kept but it was constantly like making these like really sly references to like how ridiculous it would be like if like people can't just like change from being men to women like that, like stuff like that, and so like but every time he has these superpowers he becomes a woman though, and so it it was I mean it was actually kind of like a hilarious premise. I don't know that it was series worthy, but it was a hilarious premise. It just like
Jim
it was
Wow.
just but yeah.
Oh, I read an interesting story this morning that Best Buy and Target is going to no longer sell movies, CDs, DVDs, uh,
Yeah, they're
albums.
phasing, yeah, they're phasing all that
Holy
stuff out.
shit,
No,
yeah,
they're still
dude.
gonna sell Blu-rays from what I understand.
No,
And
the article I read said they're even doing away with those
Fuck, dude.
because everything's going to digital streaming.
Yeah.
well, yeah, that is true, but
And the degradation of KBPS is horrendous these days.
I'm sorry. Like, by the way, the name of the show was She Zhao, not She Wow. It was She Zhao, like
She
all typed together.
wow.
It's S
Like
Kind of
H
like a
Z
sham
play
A
off
O.
wow.
of Shazam.
Sham
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it was like Kazan. That's exactly that's how he had to like transform it into She Zhao, but he had to say the word. So anyway, so I just want to get that right before somebody's like, that's not the name. There's no show called She Wow. It's called She Zhao. So anyway. But yeah, no, but I didn't mean to. Yeah, the physical media thing dying is. I mean, but I have to admit, like I just ever since I used to have a massive DVD and Blu-ray collection of stuff that got stolen a while back, and um I mean, I was a big collector. I collected like all the Criterion ones and stuff like that. I had a nearly complete Criterion collection and stuff like that. And it was kind of obsessive and dumb, to be honest. Like, I spent way too much time and money on it. And back when, but I had money back then. But I mean, it was dumb in retrospect.
I'm
Um,
still old school. I like a physical copy. That way I don't have
I
to
do for
rely on the
games.
internet. Yeah. I don't
I do
like having
for
to rely
I do for
on the
video games and stuff. I like to have physical copies for those. I mean, I do own I own digital stuff if it's really cheap. You know, if it's like on a really cheap sale, and it's a game that I actually want or something like that. You
hmm
know, I'll get a digital copy of it. But I mean, I prefer to have physical media for games, at least, because there's a lot of data there that that there's a lot, and games are the thing that most likely just to go away. They're just likely most likely to disappear. Like,
hmm
I was trying to, like, see if because back in the day, like, I used to play, like, Rock Band a lot and, like, a Guitar Hero and stuff like that, and I didn't even know, like, I guess 10 years ago now, they shut off the servers for, like, all of your,
Yep.
for all of
Yep.
the downloads, like, the extra songs and stuff like that. You can't even get, like, any of those even though you paid for them, like, all that time ago, like, you can't even get them now. They're all the extra songs, everything you downloaded for that, they shut that stuff off, like, 10 years ago. There's no way to even download the stuff anymore. It's ridiculous, like, um
I
Well,
I
agree.
mean,
the
it's
best,
just
well, Chris,
yeah.
best thing is that actually know how to play the guitar, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I just like rhythm games. I used to play. I like DJ Hero a lot too. I play DJ Hero and Guitar Hero and Beat
Do they have
Saber.
Streamer Hero? I feel like I could play that.
Oh shit!
You fight panel trolls.
God, that'd be funny.
Well, that was literally that was part of the idea behind like that RPG game show thing was supposed to be. It was split like was supposed to be like is like gonna be different themes. Like there's different themes for like the RPG part, but then all the enemies were always gonna be trolls because that's who we fight in the battle world. So it was always gonna be trolls. That were always gonna be the at the end of at the, and like there would be some super troll bosses and stuff like that.
Well, we all know who those are.
Yeah.
Like Rant would be one, I think.
He'd make a. I don't. I'm starting to not see Rand as a troll anymore. I kind of like
He's
Rand.
calmed down
I
some.
take him. Did y'all see his transformation on Talcott?
Yes.
I wish I could find it. That was one of the best pieces. Rant like
He was
totally
calm,
opened
cool, and
up about
collective.
himself, made himself really vulnerable, and said how he's tired of acting the way he used to act. He was doing it for these reasons, and this is how he wants to be, and he's serious, and it was really moving, and I bought it, and so
Is that
He just
still
needs
up?
some testosterone for his voice, is all.
Jeff, is it still up on YouTube?
it's on one of the Talcott shows.
Oh no! So I had to weed through all that shit.
Yeah, it
But
was
he
probably like
was calm.
a week or so. You know what? I think I might have a link.
He
Let me
was
look.
calm, cool, and collective on that show.
Yeah, it was
I
a
thought.
really good Talcott and Rant both. It was a really good conversation. It's worth watching. Okay, yeah, I think I have the link. I don't have the timestamp though, so it's somewhere on here.
I
It
believe
was
you
a
got it.
pretty long session, I
I'll
thought.
find it. No problem. I can find it. As long as I have the right video, that's
There
cool.
it is.
Yeah, I'll
So yeah, I like it. I think I've moved Rant out of troll status, and
His attitude has changed here lately.
I never had much of a problem with it at all. I mean, he has some wild ideas, but who doesn't?
Yeah, about the reptile in the dome of the Capitol. That one there, I
Yes.
just can't quite. Snake, reptile, whatever he called it, that lived in the dome of the Capitol in
August.
Washington.
Wow. I know. He's got some extreme theories, definitely. He's not like it's not as bad as the guy that keeps talking about Kobe Bryant. I don't understand. Kobe
Oh,
Bryant and
Smith,
Obama. I don't understand that one at all.
6079.
Okay.
I think he had a, a switch in his brain that flipped because he talked about he'd never done this before until what 10 months ago or something. and it started the obsession with the trying to tie things
it
together.
sounds. I mean, from my experience with something like that happening suddenly like that, if it's not the way he's been his whole life, then I hope he seeks some help, because that's exactly how psychosis started for.
And the weird thing is, if I remember right, he said he never drank, and they both happened at the same time. And he just don't drink.
Alcohol can be a trigger for certain kinds of psychosis. So
he inhales bottles of whiskey.
Damn.
And he said he never drank before. I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, I take a shot here and there semi-regularly, and I still can't barely I can't just gulp down whiskey. It's hard for me to even get a shot down sometimes. I usually dilute them. I usually even if I'm taking a shot, I usually only pour half the shot, and then the other half I'll use a sweet and sour or water or something. I have to dilute it. I can't handle it at full strength usually, except for that one that I got for my birthday. That one's really good.
I hate when that happens.
What?
Every now and then I'll get a phone call and it will kick me off StreamYard.
Could you do from your phone? You don't? Is there a setting you can change to have it not do that?
I've looked, and it just every now and then that'll happen. It's not consistent.
Oh,
it's like a glitch. Probably with my phone.
Tell people to stop calling you. You're streaming. I'm
there
hanging
you
out
go.
on the internet. Stop calling. If you want to talk to me, find me on the stream.
You're interfering with my transitioning.
I was playing DJ. I got my DJ. I found my DJ Hero controller when I was looking for that Rock Band stuff, and I pulled it out and played DJ Hero yesterday. And so there's 4 or 5 tracks in the game that mix with that 50 Cent song. So it's been stuck in my head for 2 days, ever since yesterday, I guess. And a club song. I don't even like that song, but it's been stuck in my head though.
I tried that game once, but the dogs and the cats were crying so hard I had to quit. My voice is that bad.
Oh, I don't sing. I just like to play the rhythm game parts of it. I never even though I do sing, I sing with a guitar, but I've never done the karaoke stuff in the games before.
If it's got rap on it, it goes in the trash.
Most of the stuff in DJ Hero is really old school rap though, which is I really like old school old.
What's old school, like Sugar Hill Gang?
Yeah, that or I mean, most of it's just, I mean, there's there's 50 Cent and there's 50 Cent and Eminem track or 2 on there, but it's not really. It's mostly pretty mainstream stuff or stuff that's from the mid '80s kind of stuff, like Run DMC or something like that, you know.
Oh yeah, I remember Run.
But it's usually mixed with club stuff like that. And the other thing about rhythm games, I don't actually have to like the music that. For me to have fun with a rhythm game, actually, it doesn't really. Even though there's kinds of music that I hate, but I'll still play the tracks in a rhythm game if the track is well designed. It's a fun thing to it's a fun pattern to follow. You know, it's I have fun with pattern recognition stuff like that. So I mean especially Beat Saber and Synthesizer VR games there was tracks on those that literally were from artists and songs that I hated, but I would play those tracks over and over again because they were so much fun to move with the way the tracks were designed. They would they'd almost make me dance, you know, and I can't dance for shit, so it's the closest I ever get to dancing. So
I guess those games are kind of brain building in a way. It's kind of you got to
I miss being able to play them.
It's a different way of putting emanating music through patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Chris, did you ever see that movie called? I think it was called The Incredible Mr. Opus.
Oh, Mr. Holland's Opus.
Mr. Holland's
yeah.
Opus, yeah. Good movie. It's a really good movie.
Good movie. Damn good movie.
Yeah, that was the best picture winner though that year.
Was it?
Yeah. It's a pretty big hit, I guess. But I remember watching
it.
it.
At first, I thought I wouldn't like it, but I fell in love with that movie.
Yeah, I remember thinking the same thing. I remember thinking this isn't like all that interesting to me, but it was like it was really good in the end. It's a really like it's a really easily digestible film, right? It's not like it's not like anything too challenging, or it's not gonna like it's not gonna make it's not gonna make you years wiser or anything. But it's a good movie. It's a good solid film. Like I feel the same way about like Silver Linings Playbook from a few years back. That was another Best Picture winner.
It reminded me of Dead Poets Society.
Or Dead Poets Society. Yeah, that's a very similar type movie. Yeah. But I kind of feel like Silver Linings Playbook also kind of finds that same kind of, even though it's
that was the one about mental health.
Yeah, that one's
Bradley
about it's kind of
yeah.
about neurodivergence and stuff like that a little bit, but it's it's really reductive about neurodivergence and stuff like that, which I don't like about it, but I still find like it's a cute romance that actually like affects me for some reason. I don't know why. I get suckered into like if the characters are well drawn enough and it's like the story is told like succinctly enough, I'm as susceptible to that as anybody. Like I don't get into most like rom-coms stuff like that, but there's a few of them I really like Say Anything is one of my favorite movies of all time. So. And like for that matter, the very first script I ever wrote was basically a romantic comedy. So.
Is that the one that we were gonna do?
Yeah, that's Running Away Screaming. That's the only time I ever attempted that genre. And I don't know why it's the first thing I decided to try to tackle was a genre I didn't even really like, but I just I don't know. I've always done that too. Like I was never like a huge horror movie person, and then a lot of the scripts I worked on for that were horror films like that. I think that there's a challenge to it too. It's like there's like a challenge to trying to like work in a genre that you never really have connected with or something like that. It's trying to make a good thing out of that. You try to take something that you don't necessarily. I try to understand things through trying to like create in those mediums sometimes.
Hey Chris, not to sidetrack, but have you seen the Fallout series?
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's good, and I intend to check it out eventually. But I haven't been in the mood to watch much in the way of TV here the last few days. So
yeah,
I've heard it's very good though.
It is.
Everybody seems to like binge it right straight through.
I was surprised. I mean, they definitely did a good job of making series into a video game. I mean, like based off a video game. Pretty good.
That's cool. I mean, I hope it's good. For that, I saw the trailer for the Borderlands movie the other day, and I used to play the hell out of Borderlands too. It's not anything great, but it was very addictive. It was a very addictive like shooter game to play. I used to play the hell out of that game, and I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, I mean, even just hearing that they're making a movie out of it, I thought like that. There's no way it can be good, but I thought the trailer made it look fun in a way that I didn't expect it to. It actually seemed to capture the tone of the game pretty well, and like it might end up being really bad, but the trailer at least gave me the impression that they actually like got the tone of the games enough to like it has like the feel without it trying to be a direct because there's not much story there, so there's not much to adapt really. So I never understood people were so obsessed about them doing a Halo movie, and of course they defined it that TV show and stuff like that. And I was like, what's interesting about Master Chief? He's just a dude with a helmet, like I mean.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like, is this what characters have become now? Because they have to be so universalized that anybody can identify with. So they're just stick figures now.
I did not understand why people were so excited. I was like, I mean,
I didn't either. It's just he's just a cipher.
And Halo itself, like the world of it's not like I know now I know, but there's actually a whole like universe of novels and all this in comic books and everything that's based on the world that I didn't know anything about. I just thought the games were all that existed whenever I had first, so I didn't know that they were basing it off all this extra stuff. That there was apparently a lot of depth to and whatever, but from what I saw in the games, like the games didn't have anything that was all that particularly interesting to me about their world. It was like aliens, they invaded, there's a thing, it's just like it's kind of like really typical sci-fi stuff. It's like, but people were acting like, the Halo movie, the Halo this and that was going to be amazing. And I was like, I don't understand why people even want this to be a movie. Like there was not a story there to adapt. I didn't see, but but people, people have their obsessions, that sort of thing. I guess I don't. I think there's some fun ideas in adapting certain things into certain ways, but like I tend to be more like drawn towards like things that are written for that medium in the first place, because adapting something like if you're like looking at adaptation, the Charlie Kaufman film, which is technically an adaptation of a book called The Orchid Thief, that the movie is also about him adapting. Um, if you take adaptation to that degree, then it can be brilliant and transcendent of its genre or whatever it is. But like in a lot of cases, like it's almost impossible. Like if it's like a really beloved book or something like that, turning it into a movie 9 times out of 10 is never going to satisfy the people that weren't familiar with the book in the first place that would have made them interested in, or the people that were familiar with the book because it won't be live up to what was in their head. So I never really seen the point in trying to do that very much. But like with what was it like me, like when I was a kid, and I do like the Jurassic Park film, but I read the book Jurassic Park like when I was like 14. It was like one of the very first like adult novels, like I don't
Is
know.
it a book before a movie? Oh, it's Michael Crichton.
It was
right?
Michael Crichton, yeah. And I remember like a friend of my dad's actually let me borrow it, and like my parents weren't sure if like it would be okay for me to read it. And he said, "No, it'll be okay. It's not. There's nothing like all And so like they convinced, like my parents were pretty. I guess I wasn't 14. I was like 12 or 11 actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I was a lot younger. I was still young enough. My parents were like really monitoring like what I watched and read and stuff like that. And like, but my dad's friend was like no, there's nothing bad, you can read it. And I remember reading that entire book in like one night. I just, and I used to read like that anyway, but like I read that, it was a pretty thick novel. I read the whole book in one night. And then I found out the movie, and I was so excited to see the movie and everything. And in the movie, especially the Lost World, like it did not live up to the novel at all, in my opinion. And especially the Lost World, I always thought was such a wasted opportunity, because like the book is like already it's already like tailor made to be a movie sequel, and like the script writers behind it, they took all the fun stuff out of it. All the fun stuff that's in the book is all just not there in the movie. So I just I don't know. It was it's always going to be like that with anytime you're adapting something from like book to TV or movie or whatever like that.
Yeah, kind of like how Stephen King got really pissed off about the Shining movie.
Right. But
they
I
totally
I
raped
got to see The Shining on the big
book.
screen whenever they did like a Kubrick retrospective re-release at a local theater type thing, and it really was. I had never liked that movie that much until I got to see it like projected on a big screen. It really is gorgeous to look at, like especially whenever it's
I
like.
loved it since day one, man. Like
Well, you know that hotel just burned down.
Did it really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
The Stanley?
Yep.
Well, I don't think it fully burned down. I think just one of the fireplaces set the
Okay.
thing
The
on
story
one
I
of the
said it
buildings
was
on fire.
gone. The story I read said it was on the ground completely.
Well, I saw
That place had been
pictures.
there for a couple hundred years. It was an old hotel.
I saw pictures, but none of it looked like anything from that movie at all.
Well, yeah, it wasn't because they didn't shoot it there. The exterior shots are of the Stanley. And remember, Kubrick had a fear of planes. He would not fly. He never came to the U.S. He shot all of his films. He had a second unit crew go and take external shots of the Stanley because that was the inspiration behind it in the book. And then they composited those shots with some other with like the because there is no hedge maze thing at the Stanley. That's from a different hotel, and like they shot the actual interiors at this other hotel that's somewhere in England that I don't remember. But I watched like they're actually it was at the part of that retrospective. There was a documentary behind the scenes thing that played before the movie that went into all this like detail about like the where it was shot and stuff like that. That was really cool. But yeah. Kind of weird they did it before the movie. I was like this would have been better if it was after, because if you hadn't seen it before, it really is like if you hadn't seen it before, they really spoiled the whole thing. But I guess it was kind of set up as being like this is for fans of the movie already kind of thing. So I don't know.
So what was it that Stephen King didn't like about it?
Oh, because like for Stephen King, it was a really personal book about his alcoholism, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and Kubrick turned it into like a pot boiler, like weird suspense horror movie, and he just felt like he didn't like it. for Stephen King, the book was literally like not even too far off from a metaphor of what drinking did to him. It was about him dealing with alcohol.
Gotcha.
And so, and Kubrick really disliked the adaptation because of that, which is why I think there's some like Stephen King approved adaptation that came out on TV way later, and but you can totally see why Kubrick made the changes he did, because like the Stephen King approved one was boring as shit. So.
Like the thing about Stephen King that I kind of it was off-putting is that he always wrote about writers. Always.
You write what you know.
Every fucking story he writes is about writers and some situation.
Yeah. I mean, The Stand isn't about a writer though. The Stand is a big cast of characters though. I like The Stand.
Well, yeah, I just saw the original movie that was made for TV. I didn't even watch the remake of it. I just
no, the original one's the one I've seen. The original.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the remake.
I kind of liked that when I was younger. I thought it was great because as a kid, I thought it was good.
It's kind of cheesy to see these days because I remember trying to find it and watching part of it like a few years back too.
Yeah, made for TV stuff is usually just like flat line.
It's not bad, but it's just the same way of like going back and watching the original V from the 80s, the V TV show. Like
I remember with the lizard people.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Remember, like we talked like whenever I was a kid.
Oh, you showed that clip, yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, like the scene of the woman giving birth to the alien baby was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. It gave me nightmares, and then I saw it as an adult, and I couldn't stop laughing at I was not just laughing at how cheesy and terrible it is, but at the fact that this is what gave me nightmares. Like this.
Holy shit.
It's worse than seeing it's worse than like a Muppet parody of a horror film. I mean, it's so corny.
So in the nightmare you didn't have any kind of way to differentiate whether like this is something that you saw that you thought was stupid from like what's going on in the dream. That's kind of a weird.
Well, no, I mean when I saw it, it scared me. It scared me when I saw it as a kid. When I saw it as a kid, it scared me. Like the scene, because and that's the only thing I saw too. I saw it without context. It was like at night or something, and I was always an insomniac. I was always sneaking out of bed and watching TV, and it was on fairly late at night, I guess. My parents were in bed. I remember, and I was like flipping through the channels and like trying to be really quiet. And then I flipped onto that. It was just all I saw was like that scene of like the woman giving birth, and then like they turn around, they show the baby, and the baby looks like it has like the lizard face, and then and I remember and like the lizard face thing, and it actually scared the shit out of me, and then so I went and it gave me nightmares but I didn't want to tell my parents because I didn't want them to know I'd been sneaking out of bed and watching TV. So so like I couldn't tell anybody about it. I was just like it lived like rent free in my brain for forever until I suddenly remembered it existed again one day when I was working for Cracked, and I was like I had an idea and it gave me an idea to do an article, and I looked up that and I just out of curiosity I was like I wonder if that's even scary, because I was going to do an article about things that were things that terrified me when I was a kid or something like that, and like I went back and saw it and I could not stop laughing. It was like it was just like it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. There was another show too that was I used to think was really scary when I was a kid. It was on PBS, and it's also like hilariously corny. That was I can't remember what it's called. God damn it! But it was about this literally. The show is really dark and fucked up for a TV show, especially since the theme of the show, the educational theme of the show, was teaching kids how to use a library. So in order to teach kids to use a library, what they came up with a post-apocalyptic show about a woman who drives the last remaining book bus. She drives a book van
magic
around,
school bus.
trying
magic
to distribute
school bus.
materials to people, because the world gets nuked. The entire world gets like nuked, and like there's these and the people that are left have turned into like insane mutants and stuff like that. And
what year was this?
I can look it up because it's I have the article never got published and I still have it on my Google Drive. So let me look at what's called because I can never remember what it's called. It's got such a weird name, and it was literally a show in the 80s on PBS that you can't. I think you can find like one episode of it on YouTube, and if you watch that one episode, it is hilarious. But there was a bunch of weird ass PBS shows from that time period from that same. It was like one specific PBS station in like Milwaukee or something like that that made all these weird shows.
You have the name of it?
Yeah, I gotta pull up my Google Drive real fast.
Sounds Canadian.
It is. It's
Yeah, they
Canadian,
used
actually.
because I used to watch all that PBS stuff growing up, and they had Toronto was one of the cities that the programming came out of, and Boston. I remember they had all these because it was independent programming developed by the PBS stations in the cities, and then they feed them to the PBS network. They were like little 15 or 30-minute shows.
Well, hey guys, I gotta hop off, but thanks for having me up.
Okay, man, no problem.
Yeah, have a good Sunday, Busker.
All right, Busker, have a good one.
You
Yeah, have a
guys
good Sunday,
too.
Busker.
Take care.
Take care.
Yeah.
Chris has got me curious with that.
I know I'm dying to know what this show is.
I'm looking, guys. I unfortunately.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, you might find it faster than I can from looking through my documents because I have all of my articles, but I didn't necessarily label them that well. So like, so I'm like looking through and just trying to see, like a lot of them were just untitled document this, untitled document that. So I'm just like trying to figure out which.
And if anyone in the chat knows it, here's your chance. It wasn't the Magic School Bus.
No, it's not the Magic School Bus. I will find it. It'll just take me a minute. If you don't find it, if you look up,
I'm
like,
finding lists of every PBS kids show, but it's.
Was it the one about where they always went to the library?
Reading Rainbow.
Nope. If I just look, I'll just Google it. I know the Google. I know what I used to Google it for.
Do you know what year? I can look at. They have it by year.
About post-apocalypse.
Chris said somewhere in the 80s, but that's all he said.
It's 80s or early 90s, but I'm pretty sure it's 80s.
This list starts in 99, so. Okay, here's another list with some more recent. That's the 80s. Contact, 321 Contact. I remember that. Reading Rainbow, Newton's Apple, Square One, Long Ago and Far Away, Shining Time. Then we get into Carmen Sandiego, etc. Oh, Lamb Chop. I remember Lamb Chop.
Oh, God. I remember Lamb Chop.
The Magic School Bus is 1994. Miss Frazzle, whoever. Then we get into Bill Nye and that era. Carmen Sandiego, Tots TV, Zoom. I remember Zoom.
Yep, me too.
Caillou, and Corduroy.
Yep, I remember that.
Elliot Moose. Here's one for Moose. Moose should get an Elliot Moose costume. This is cute. He looks like he's having fun. All right, I gotta get out of here. It's a rabbit hole.
I will find this. I can.
Yeah, I remember. It was they had Electric Company and 321 Contact, and they would play.
I thought the show was one of my favorites for a long time until I actually found the video on YouTube for it. I was halfway convinced the show didn't exist because it was hard to find the name of it.
That's the AI. The Bloodhound Gang. Oh yeah, I do remember that.
That's a little past my. That's.
I was like in high school or something when that came out, but I do remember them.
This is the one I searched to find it before. I remember. Let me see.
Just ask the AI. Let me see.
I am asking the AI. The AI didn't know. There it is. Okay, I found it. It's called Tomes and Talismans. I will post the Wikipedia link in the chat. which is why it's like I said, it's a weird name. It's not like a name. Tomes and Talisman. Does that sound like a show about libraries? No, it doesn't.
No, it sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons, like a role playing.
Yeah.
Mississippi Public Broadcast.
Yeah, Mississippi. Okay, there we go. I knew it starts on the M. Yeah, yeah. So like,
Earth is overcrowded and polluted. An alien race called the Wipers, who look human, start to colonize the planet and go about destroying communication and data technology. Okay, we got to get this conspiracy theory off the ground and in circulation. This is a much better one. In 20, humans start to evacuate the planet. Okay, so there's Wipers on the planet from a solar system called Dark Star, and they're among us, and they look human, and they destroy communication and data technology. So maybe some of the trolls.
This is some deep lore for a show
we're seeing around here. Are Wipers trying to interfere with communication. That's what I'm starting to call it. A Wiper.
Its primary
Mrs. Bookhart, a group of librarians led by Mrs. Bookhart, they have built an underground library to protect all human knowledge from the Wipers. While they are finishing up, they discover that one book, the third volume of the history of the Wipers on Earth, is missing. Desperate to find that book, Mrs. Bookhart drives the bookmobile to the house of the last person who borrowed that book to see if he forgot to return it. It's like the library police. When she arrives, she discovers a Wiper is there destroying everything. This is exciting. On her way to the evacuation site, the bookmobile stalls, y'all. And she has to fix it herself. And she has to get her tools. And then she meets a being called the Universal Being. Appears and puts her into a deep sleep. And then the other librarians go to evacuation site and leave without her, not knowing what happened to her or the book. And then we flash forward 100 years later. And there's another alien race called the Users, who also look human. And under the guise of their leader, Tesla, a group of children learn about human knowledge to defeat the Wipers. So we have these two alien races fighting. And y'all, that's just like the first two paragraphs.
Yeah, and
I don't even
swear to God,
that's like Doctor Who with a bookmobile.
It is. But the show stops periodically from the plot to give you straightforward lessons about how to use the Dewey Decimal System. I swear to God, it is the weirdest fucking shit, dude. I just put the first episode is on YouTube.
That guy looks creepy. Okay, I wonder if I could get away with playing a little bit. This is one of the creepiest.
It's public television. There should be no issues with it.
All right, I'm just gonna show the screenshot to just show how creepy he is. Is this the host? Look at him. He looks demon. What are they teaching these kids? Chris? What did they do to you?
Like I said, I thought this I was show didn't actually exist for so long. Like I it was creepy and kind of scary to me when I was a kid.
A black guy in a prison uniform. What is this? A lesbian driving a big truck. Wow, the 80s were some wild times. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah, it's
Homes and Tombs is the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, like it's so dark, and yet at the same time, it is a show that is trying to teach kids how to use a library catalog system. Like that's if you look at key moments, like the key moments in the video from from the site I'm on anyway, like it even like has directly like at minute 206 is a lesson about the Dewey Decimal System. It was a show that was made for educational purposes. It was not made, but it has like some fucking deep lore.
Well, here's my thing. Here's the Dewey Decimal System is not that hard to learn. You don't need this complex show with all this sci-fi lore. I recognize that would to me would almost complicate it. If somebody tried to teach me the Dewey Decimal through this story, it would confuse me. It's easier to just learn the system without all this stuff. Mm-hmm. That would be such a distraction from the actual system.
I mean, because I didn't remember anything about it telling anything about the library. All I remember was like a creepy show about because like the Wipers themselves, like they're not like they're corny to see them now, but they're kind of like zombie like, but they're not slow zombies. They're kind of like these just mutant people that kind of like walk around like hey, and kind of like they kind of look like vampires kind of or something, and like it's really bizarre. Like, and like I mean it's a very dark show. It's not even close to being like lighthearted in any
To
sense.
learn
It's
the library
extremely serious.
system.
Yeah, to learn the library system.
And they they switched to Library of Congress anyway. A lot of libraries, which is a lot easier to learn.
yeah, no, it's not even relevant information anymore. But then there were other shows that were also kind of like they were also a little more serious than you expect them to be. But none of them were as quite to the level of Tomes and Talisman. But like there was like another one called MathNet, the same thing that was a parody of Dragnet, but where they solved math problems. But
The Math Police.
It's a little bit more tongue in cheek. It actually seems to know it's supposed to be. It's kind of silly. There was the Mississippi Educational Television thing. There's a whole bunch of them that they made that are just bizarre and strange. Let me see if I can find like the list of them anywhere. There used to be a list of these on freaking Wikipedia. Now I don't see the list.
I'm sure there's one somewhere.
I just look at Mississippi Public Broadcasting. It probably
because we had Louisiana we had LPB. I used to call PBS LPB for most of my life. I moved out of Louisiana, and they had their own programming too. Like Louisiana generated a bunch of educational programming.
Yeah, I remember. I used to have the same. We had the same PBS LPB as well. That was the PBS that.
Oh, from Texarkana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really close to Shreveport, and that's where LPB was.
Yeah. Well, it's just us.
Everybody left?
Yeah.
Oh, why'd Chuck go?
Well, I don't know. He left. No big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll pick up again next time.
I was looking for that list, so I wasn't on the screen, so I couldn't tell.
And I might do a stream tonight's my D&D night, but depending on how it goes, after it's over, I might do another evening stream. I'm starting to really enjoy the evening ones. Oh, he lost connection.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he got another phone call or something. Chuck's a busy man.
Very possible.
Our denizens here peeking in.
I'm finding lots of links, but I can't seem to find the list of their shows. I can only find like the.
I don't really have anything else outside of that, so we can wrap up if you want. I might go check out this Tomes and Talismans.
It's not okay, and this I want to stress that it's not particularly entertaining, but it is weird as shit. It's just like, and there's parts of it that are hilarious. I mean, it was
because I want to see if it has the potential to get a conspiracy going. If I'm going to be dealing with all these conspiracy theories, I need one of my own to battle with. This seems perfect.
They also did one called the Clyde Frog Show, and the Clyde Frog Show is hilarious because it's so. There's tons of it on YouTube. Looking up the Clyde Frog Show, you would swear it was like a parody of a kid show. Like you would swear it was something like from Wonder Chosen or like South Park or something that South Park would come up with. I think South Park did actually use. I think South Park based something off of Clyde Frog, if I'm not mistaken. And there are episodes of it, and it's so weird. It's like there's these little short short things about like Clyde Frog and how he gets into trouble for doing this or that.
I'm looking at him now. He looks drunk.
Yeah,
the drunk frog with the eyes that are.
Yeah, that episode is called Pills.
So he is okay. Well, they conveyed it very well because that was my impression of him.
Like the whole thing is like Clyde Frog is like this frog, but I guess never learns any lessons because no matter what, he does all the things that he's the character that he's not the character that comes in and is like acts like the moral authority or something like that. He's the character that does all the bad things.
That would be me. So when people talk about like programming and stuff, is this the stuff you were programmed with as a kid? Like whatever
No,
they
I mean
were
I never
trying
saw
to
this show as a
show.
kid. I found this when
Oh.
I was researching for that article, and I was trying to find tomes and talismans. I found this show. I never saw this show as a kid. I found this as an adult, and I just thought it was hilarious because like even the names. Okay, one of the episodes is literally called Freezer, and like the lesson in it is to not lock your friends in a freezer.
We used to play in the freezer. No, they would tell us that too, because we had these empty deep freezers, and kids, they would warn us, like kids get locked in there, and sometimes they die if they get in there overnight. Nobody finds them. So they had us like really conscious. If we're playing in the deep freezer, make sure you don't lock yourself in.
So, I never
I
had
guess
that.
that's a thing in the rural South because there's lots of things.
I mean, I did that. Even
play
I
with.
grew up in the rural South too, but I never heard of anybody getting locked in a freezer. But I guess that was just like I don't know.
I don't know if it was an urban legend or what,
full of
but I
stuff.
definitely know we had it in our heads of don't get locked in the empty deep freezers.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so like there's an episode called Freezer that's about that, and there's an episode called Pills, which are about taking random pills you find.
Well, I need to go back and watch this show because it might be drawn
they're
from
very
my
short.
childhood.
They're
We
only
might have
they're
actually
only
done
5 minutes
some.
long.
If they're telling kids not to get locked in the freezers, they might be.
I think it's hilarious.
Speaking
There's one about hitchhiking though,
language.
like as though that's something that like small children have a.
No,
had a-
they
when
warned us about that too. Oh my God, yes, they all like. Oh God, the dangers of hitchhiking. I remember that. I was
Like,
always worried about people who hitchhiked. Like, how can you just ask a stranger for a ride like that? That's scary. They might do something. That was so okay. That Clyde Frog got 2 right so far.
I mean, all the things the show was about were technically.
Ooh, there's one called Ignoring
Oh.
Rules.
Yeah.
Hello. I need to watch that one. It's probably like a how-to guide.
But he always looks like he's stoned as fuck in every single like there is no image
Yeah,
of
he
him.
is,
There's no like version of Clyde Frog where he doesn't look like he's bloodshot, like he is just taken like a huge bong rip on every single one. And he acts stoned too. Like the whole puppet is just like his whole like demeanor, the voice and everything is just like it's just very like I don't know. I guess Gumby and all that stuff has that same kind of like weird surreal quality to it too, probably. But like I don't remember them being as I'd never seen Clyde Frog though before I was doing this research. I guess just like South Park did actually specifically reference it at one point. So I guess and I didn't realize that at the time. But anyway, but yeah, Clyde Frog was one of their things, and then there were some other shows that
I'm pulling it up now. I have a whole YouTube list now to watch when I get off of here of all this crap people are tuning me on to. I wish I could show it on here.
I don't know why you couldn't be able to because
copyright. I don't want to push it. I've been this before. I've got plenty of copyright strikes. I wish people respect my copyright judgments. It's not unreasonable to not want to play copyrighted content, even if it's PBS.
No, I know.
Especially we got people out there trying to bury my channel.
Yeah, I know. That wasn't my.
I don't feel like I get support when I make copyright. I feel like I get resistance and pushback. And it makes me feel isolated and harder to run my channel. Like, are my values actually aligned with these people? So it throws me into this little like cognitive doubt about. Because I think like, do they do that with other channel viewers, or is this like another Jeff thing where I feel like I'm getting infantilized or manipulated?
I was just saying that my understanding was that it was because it was public television. It technically should be free because that was the whole point.
Every time I make a copyright call, I have people trying to convince me why I can risk it this one time, and then the next day, without fail, I'm constantly getting a copyright notice. And we have enough instances of that I feel like at this point, people would kind of ease up on the copyright stuff and give me some latitude to call copyright and have that be the end of it. But people still keep pushing and pushing and pushing, even with the history of copyright strikes. And then I feel like, are we a team, or am I going to always have to fight to get the copyright off the channel? Like, if we're all building this channel together, why would you not want to protect it from copyright as much as I do?
I do. I just I don't worry about it.
There's been a pattern lately of me having to fight people that I think are here to work together to build something over stupid stuff like audio levels, who should be on the panel, who I should mute or not mute, what to play on the channel if I think it's a copyright risk, trying to play it etc. That type of stuff. Like,
I didn't
guess
try to play it
going to be
anyway.
some of that. I'm trying to understand it so I can minimize it, I guess, is what this is about. And it's just something I'm noticing a lot lately that's been coming up. So this is just part of I'm just pattern watching.
Okay.
But in the future, if I don't want to play something for copyright, or if I say let's not talk about this person, or if I make calls or change people's, just can y'all just let it be and we can just move. We had a nice conversation today, and I want to keep that flow. And sometimes I make these little facilitation calls to keep that flow. And I would like not to get bogged down. I would like to just have people respect my flow.
Okay.
And I agree with you, Jeff. If I give somebody something that say, hey, play this, before I do, I always research, because if it's copyrighted, I don't even mention it.
And if the person doesn't want to play it because they're trying to like keep their channel, just respect that. Just say, okay, no problem. We'll watch it on Discord, or here's the link in the chat. People can watch for them. It's not a big deal, but I don't know. Maybe it's me. Like I don't feel like I'm getting support lately from people that I think are part of my team, and with the autism, I need to work that out, because it's probably something on my end that I'm missing, that I need to like be aware of and get the full picture about. Like, I feel like I'm in a fog, like in the dark.
And I lump them all together, medical misinformation, copyright, whatever it is. I try to lump them all together to protect whoever channel it is.
Yeah, like when someone is hosting a panel, I think that the general etiquette should be to just kind of take their guide, like take your cue from them, take your guidance from them. Don't get bogged down and like arguing with the panel host over stupid logistical stuff.
Yeah, like that day I told you could sing happy birthday without any problems, or I even told you that I had researched it and found that it was no longer copyrighted.
Yeah. And then I Googled it real quick myself. And
just to make sure I wasn't lying to you, which I respect.
Right. That was actually my point, was that I had actually researched that, but that's not a big deal. I don't care about playing it on the show. I was just saying that my understanding was, what I researched was that public television, by definition, can't be owned in that sense. They can't.
And you might be right, but I don't want to risk it. Just in case.
I respect that, and that's fine. And I was just pointing that out from whenever I did my research. I wasn't trying to force you to play anything.
No, well, no, I didn't feel like you were trying to force me, but it. Anyway. I know, I even get paranoid about that. You know why? Because on Big Brother, they mute them. They like bleep them out if they like sing a song or say the phrase of the song or something. And so, because I watch so much Big Brother, when I'm on YouTube, I'm like, you can't say copyrighted song. You can't even like quote songs. But I'm such a poor singer anyway. I think it would bypass the censors just on that alone.
I think Dennis is wrong on that. Did he say you can sing copyrighted songs?
Yeah, you should be able
to. Because I understand
you
intellectual property. PBS itself doesn't necessarily nullify the individual intellectual property right of that content. That's why I'm a little hesitant. I don't know that just because it's PBS, it gives you this blanket copyright protection.
Like I said, that was information based on my research I did back then, because I used clips of it in the article I pitched, and I wanted to make sure they wouldn't get copyright struck. So I copyright struck for like the because I took clips from the show and then re-uploaded them to my YouTube and stuff like that, and I had an issue with that before, and I didn't have an issue with those. So, but it's not a big deal. I don't care about. I'm not fighting for that or anything. I don't think it's important to show it on the show or anything. So it's
Some
not
of
a
the
big deal.
fastest ones I've ever seen that get hit, anything to do with Disney,
Yeah, Disney especially.
Joe Rogan, and there's another
Yeah.
one. As soon as you even think about
Oh, like
doing
if
it,
you play a Joe Rogan, because PF Young plays Joe Rogan clips sometimes.
Yeah, he does.
Without
Plenty of people get away with with all that kind of stuff all the time. I
yeah,
don't
it's
know. I don't know
weird.
what
I
the
don't
difference is.
understand it. How they do?
I don't either.
I mean, there's
Because
entire
other,
channels that are based on nothing but on taking content from other places like that and then commenting on them, and not even without even much commentary, and nobody like does anything about it. So, but if we play a 5-second clip from something, we get copyright struck. So I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, and Dennison, you're right. I call them strikes. They're takedown notices, and sometimes it's not even the U.S. It's like this one country
Yeah, the one I
blocking
got,
in
in
their
the
in
one
their.
stream I did where I did that was from Russia.
well,
Yeah, sometimes
UK's
it's
got
Russia,
different rules too.
What's
but
that now?
I'm in this long term. Like I want to be in this for the long haul, so I want to like get all these little copyright protocols
And it
down
seems to,
early, and
they seem to go after smaller channels more than bigger channels for some reason. It makes no sense, but it seems to be the way that it works. It seems like they tend to attack the smaller channels and leave the bigger channels alone. So, which I mean, it literally makes zero sense because the big channels are the ones that people are actually going to know about and like are actually going to see the copyright material on. But for whatever reason, like I think it's just it just matters if the show is making if the stream is making YouTube money, I think they care. And if you're not making them any money, because if you're not at the point where you're monetized and playing ads, then they don't really give a shit. So.
well, I don't expect them to care. I don't expect them to emotionally have any feelings
No, I
about
didn't
it,
mean.
but
I
I
didn't. I didn't
expect
mean.
them
Okay.
to follow the
Yeah.
agreement that
No, that's
and
what I mean
that's
by
all
care.
fair. And as long as they
I
do
don't mean
that,
emotional. I don't mean anything emotional by that. Right? I use the term incorrectly, but yeah.
Yep. YouTube is owned by the woke people, so you don't know what you're going to get by with.
right? Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm honestly am surprised that I haven't gotten strikes for some of the stuff that has shown up on this channel. So in that sense, YouTube is being pretty lax and laissez-faire so far. But
No, I
I'm
mean,
sure it's coming. I don't
I've seen.
expect to be strike
We haven't
free.
done anything as bad as like I've seen way worse stuff on tons of channels. So than anything we've ever even gotten. We've never gotten close to some of the stuff I've seen. I see on channels all the time actually in terms of content. Like we just have, I mean, we're just doing conversations. So I mean, I've heard people talk about way worse shit. Now there are like mid-sized channels that are super careful and like will like censor even like censor even concepts, not to mention words, but concepts. Um, but but there's bigger channels that have no issue like addressing those things directly and have no issue. So
Philip, do you mean that they were protesting wokeness or they were woke themselves? I know Google, like a few weeks ago or so, laid off a bunch of woke stuff, like their EI staff.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Interesting.
Yep, and
'Cause I
some
thought
colleges are getting rid of their entire departments. Like they're not
I
even
know
down.
Texas.
The whole department is excised.
Yeah, Texas did that in their state-owned colleges. Did away with DEI.
yeah, I mean, which is good. Definitely good.
Denizen, these are all great tips. Thank you. And it makes a lot of sense with my own.
Oh, and
feeling about the thing.
there's another funny thing I'll post in the thing if I can find the image from it. There's another show from that it's actually a British kids show that I am convinced is actually literally like where they got the whole like like the creepy clown thing in the Saw movies and stuff like that. That's like the Jigsaw. There was actually a TV show called Jigsaw from a kids show from the 80s, and it had this character in it that looks a lot like the clown thing called a Nosy Bonk, and it's creepy as hell. And there's another one too called.
Why do they make kids things so creepy, like the Mr. Rogers puppets and stuff? Yeah, I'm looking at him now. Okay, I'm gonna show this picture.
Yeah. There's no way like you should go for a picture.
What's his name? Nosy.
It's disturbing as hell.
This thing. Look at that.
There's entire
like
videos.
Who would think? What are you trying to communicate to a kid looking like that? Who would think that this would win a kid's attention, like and rapport and empathy over and trust? Like, you teach kids not to talk to creepy people at the park, but you're gonna put this on TV to try to teach them stuff?
He was supposed to be funny, supposedly, but he looks like
I say the same thing about Mr. Rogers and some of those puppets too. There's so much noise in the signal that I'm not even sure what message that puppet's going to be able to convey at that point.
Oh, here's a picture of maybe the creepiest kids TV character of all time. It's actually from, I think it's from Serbia. It was a Serbian TV show, so you can imagine like that it's not exactly like a happy place. But I'm trying to remember the name of it, and also I'll put the name up instead of like getting thing. Okay. It's called. You have to look up Ratafak, RATAFAK.
Yeah, just type it, please.
Okay. I'll post a link to one of them so you can just see what it looks like. It's like this bizarre puppet person hybrid thing, and I don't know, it gives me the creeps. Not looking at now, I think Nosy Bonk probably still wins the prize, but it's pretty bad. Let's see here. Yeah, come on, like load. Darn you.
Like, I'm starting to get fascinated by the thinking, the thought process of some of these children's, like the design process. How did they come to be? I'm looking at Lady Elaine right now. Oh my God. Let's see.
I think puppets are always a little creepy, though, to be honest. Like when you think about like like the really old. I've seen museum pieces of like the really old puppets like that were made for like children's puppet shows and stuff. Like they were creepy back then too. So.
Oh my God, this thing looks like some of a horror movie. How is this?
Yeah, I know. It's horrifying. It really is.
Okay, hang on. We're gonna look at this one. Rodifak. Look at this thing. If I saw that as a kid on TV, I would scream. What is this?
Oh yeah, you never would have seen this because the show is from.
There are Russians, but
it's like Serbian or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, Serbian
or Slavic.
There's something going on here more than just.
It was a care, and like the show itself was just like kind of your typical kids show that had there was like a nice lady like female host, and there was a bunch of kids, and like this character would come around and do like it was like basically like this goofy character that would come in like and fall down and do dumb stuff, but it's like they do little shorts with it and stuff like that, and it's just terrifying. I don't know how. I'm trying to find like the actual name, the actual the Wikipedia article.
Give me Schoolhouse Rock. I don't know this from a Satanist, a goth, punk, rock, David Lynch fan, and I don't want any of that creepy stuff. Just good old Schoolhouse Rock for my education, please.
It was a children's TV show, Seleneko, which I don't know what that means, but I'm trying to figure out where.
Type it in the chat or put a link real quick and keep commenting, and I'm gonna run and pee, and I'll be right back. Talk, say something.
I'm about to talk. Yeah, I was trying to get this freaking link in here, and it's giving me trouble. Anyway, yeah. So Yeah, it's the country. I'm trying to find the country it's from. Because I cannot remember which country, and it's a country that has some really messed up like history to it
What
too. So
year
I
was it
think it
made?
was. It comes from it's Czechoslovakian. That's what it's Czechoslovakian. And which is like if you've never looked up um, Polish or Czechoslovakian movie posters before, I encourage you to do that search because Polish movie posters for movies that were like American, like your regular everyday, like American movies like Star Wars and stuff like that, have posters for them posters for them front in Poland and in Czechoslovakia that will make you definitely like that are just terrifying images. I don't know how to explain it. They don't
Was
even
that
like
was
um
that why they were still Russian under Russia's control?
I don't I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to see if I can find one that I could post up here. Like I just a good example because there's so many of them. There's so many great ones that are just so like when you actually you look at the picture and you're like, and if I showed you the picture because you can't read the unless you can read the Polish, you would literally never know what movie this is from. You would be like, well, that's clearly from some really messed up horror film, and then you actually like look, and then you actually find look at what the translation of what it is, and you're like, it's what? What it's from like it's like Mrs. Doubtfire and like it looks like that it's like some of the most innocent movies like the one for Star Wars is simultaneously like 10 times cooler than the actual like any of the Star Wars imagery, but it also I have no idea how you get that from Star Wars at all. It's like it's so bizarre. Let me see if I can find the right link here.
You gotta
I'm just
remember
trying to
they were oppressed over there for many, 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 many years.
yeah, they
So I
were.
don't know what their access to Western
Well, they apparently
art
got a lot of
and
our
stuff.
movies, and whenever they got them, they decided they made their own version of the movie posters. The movie posters that we had over here were not sufficient for Polish taste, and therefore they created their own movie posters. And their movie posters are all like these. I mean, they're actually kind of amazing pieces of art. I mean, in a weird way. Um, but like the one for Alien is amazing, like, and you would never know this is for Alien. Like, I mean, I guess it sort of makes sense, but here, only thing I can find is like a link to it. That's too long of a link. I just want to share this. Come on, give me a share link here.
Yeah, one of them 900-mile links.
Yeah, I'm trying to find just a short link to it. It's really, really cool though. If I can find a better, let's see if I find a better one. Here we go. I mean, it's cool and it's also like disturbing at the same time. This is for like the original Alien from the 80s, and it just does not. You would never see this image and think, oh yeah, that's from the Alien. That makes sense. Yeah, that's normal.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. Let's see the back. What's this? But I missed the first part. Oh, this from the movie Alien.
Poster.
I was talking about like another weird rabbit hole subject is Polish and Czechoslovakian.
Oh yeah, the Polish movie posters, right?
Yeah,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
yeah, Polish and Czechoslovakia, because that show show that we were talking about it's from Czechoslovakia, and I was just saying that it doesn't necessarily surprise me that much that that Czechoslovakian children's television would have something that disturbing, because if you look at the movie posters in Czechoslovakia and Poland from that same time period, like you see, yeah, everything is so nightmarish. I mean, the Muppet movie. Okay, the Muppet movie has a poster here. Like, I'll show this to you right now. Like, look at this. Like, you see this? Like, I mean, granted, it's definitely a poster for the Muppet movie. You can't say it's not. But look at how horrifying this is compared to like what you would expect.
What year?
Looks like Well, no, it looks like Animal, the Muppet.
Yeah,
I would
but it's like
recognize him right away.
but it's like done in like this weird like art like this weird like sketchy, like I don't know. To me, it's
He
startling
looks
like
just
how
like Animal to me, like a
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it
Like
didn't have the same effect on you, but anyway. But yeah, I love Polish movie posters. I think they're amazing. But like the original one for their Terminator poster is absolutely brilliant.
Dahlia said she can't see it.
You didn't
I
share
don't
it
know
on
why.
the screen.
Let me see if I can get it on my end.
Oh, Weekend at Bernie's. Oh, the Weekend at Bernie's one was great. It does not look anything like. It's so. Some of these are so
Bernie,
like
a weekend at
effed up.
Bernie Sanders? What?
There's a weekend, or the one for Cabaret. The one for Cabaret is something else. Like the one for Cabaret. Look up Polish Cabaret.
Somebody's
poster.
echoing. Me?
I don't know. I don't hear any echoes.
I don't either. I mean, we're gonna wrap up soon anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Anyway, but yeah, my point was just that like every movie that we apparently exported to Poland and Czechoslovakia, they took a look at our promotional materials and like,
Run
what?
through the demented Eastern European psyche.
How are you going to sell a movie that doesn't scare the shit out of the people that look at it? Like, I mean, like, what's wrong with you? I mean, I don't think it's not something that's like, I don't think they do that today. My understanding is that like this was like the standard thing they did back in the 60s through the 80s and early 90s, and then they started using more of our more of a Western sensibility after that. But like, yeah, it's very very. It really shows you a difference in like the cultures. It really does. Like the culture was completely different and completely like, you know.
And I'm sure it's individual artists, not necessarily. So I don't know how representative.
No, these were the official posters for those movies at the time. This is
I
what
know,
they
but it's
artists
artists making them. It's not.
Yeah,
You
I'm just
think
saying,
it's
but
the production companies telling them, like, make it
no, I
this
mean it
fucked
was
up
individual
art?
artists certainly, which is cool. I mean, I think the art is cool. It's just, but it's also like but a lot of times it doesn't necessarily represent like what the movie is.
Right.
Anything even
I'm
close to.
wondering, like how representative those individual artists are of Polish culture in general, or if
Oh.
these are just a few fucked up individuals that just happen to be Polish, or if I can get an impression of the Polish people from these posters.
That
Like,
is
should I
true. That is
judge
true.
them by their individual weirdos or not?
Well, I mean, I wasn't even judging them. I just think it's an interesting contrast. I mean, like if you're just used to that kind of
Okay,
like,
substitute, judge, or evaluate, I'm not saying it a negative thing. I like, to what extent does an individual artist represent the culture that he's from? I guess is my
yeah, that's
question.
that's
Like,
actually
is
actually a
Van
good
Gogh represent the psyche of Dutch people, or does he represent the psyche of Van Gogh?
Yeah, that's a good.
It was
Good
just
point.
a philosophical
No, I think it's
line
an
of
interesting.
questioning
I
I
think
was
it's a
going
very
down.
interesting
I'm
question,
not
actually.
get bogged down in it.
No, I think it's an interesting question. Like, I
But
mean,
to look at Polish music posters and say, "Oh, look, the Polish people are so weird and fucked up," I wanted to zoom in on that just a little bit and see.
no, yeah, I'm with you on that, and I actually think that there's a good point there. And my point originally wasn't even that they were so fucked up. It was actually, I mean, like I was saying that like in a hyperbolic way. I was being hyperbolic when I was saying that earlier, but I was just saying like look how fucked up they are. But really, I mean, it's just like this is just more representative of like the kind of art that was more normal, I think, and like therefore this was more mainstreamish art at the time. This is what was more popular at the time, and it is representative, of the same way that look at like old like Russian art from the 1800s and stuff like that. Like it all has like a certain look to it. Like it's just like, and you could, and depending on who's seeing it, it might seem creepy or scary or something like that. But if they had movies back then, like their posters would look like that. They would have that look to them the same way that a Russian iconograph would have.
So you're saying that the art at the time was also this, like, outside of posters, so the posters were just carrying on the
Yeah, no,
style.
I have actually researched enough of it to know that. Like, there is this is actually this is like the Polish art of the time was this is very it's the art, the posters are very representative of the Polish art of the time. So it's really not, it's not really like it's like super fucked up or anything. But now with the kids TV show thing, that's really not,
I don't know if you cut out or if I did.
No,
My
no,
sound might have.
no. Lindsay asked me a question. What?
Okay.
What do you ask me, Lindsay? I don't see anything with a bunny. Oh, I have no idea what it doesn't translate it for me. So. Yeah, to be fair, like it's not just American films that got exported to Poland. Like the Polish film itself has some really really fucked up looking posters and images too. So Poland itself was I mean, and I'm a huge fan of one of my favorite filmmakers is a Polish filmmaker.
You're roboting.
Oh, okay.
You're breaking up.
Any better? Usually if I mute and unmute it works.
No. It's watery. Like you're underwater.
Weird. My battery might be going out in this thing.
Well, let's just wrap up.
Yeah, I think it did tell me it gave me a low battery beep a minute ago, so I think it's just like.
All right, I'll see you either tonight if I do evening stream or tomorrow for the usual time.
All right. Well, yeah. If you want, let's we can watch those things on the Discord. Things we're just talking about.
I have like I'm gonna do it while I'm doing other things, so I don't know if that's something I'm gonna like be able to just focus on.
All right, cool. I'll see you later.
But I have my D&D night, and then I'll be around later, so we can either watch something or do a stream. Yeah, Philip, thanks for hanging out and watching, and you're welcome to come on anytime. I appreciated you coming on last night. The conversation kind of took a different turn, but we could talk about some of your topics one day as well. And everyone else, thank you. Denizen, Auntie, Dahlia, Jack. Thank you all. And we'll either be here tonight again or tomorrow. So just look for us. Subscribe. It helps you see when we're going live. And then like and share if you feel moved to. And if we're trying to grow the channel, so if you like have groups that you participate in, Facebook groups or Discords or Twitter or something, I mean, you want to occasionally let other people know about us. Consider sharing the link there too. And other than that, we will see you at the next one. And have a good rest of your Sunday. Do something fun. We're out for now. Probably back in a few hours. Take care.